30 years of joyfulness. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM, Hits 103.9 FM here in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com. We're live in all 16 regions, Jubilee Radio in Keta, Flow FM in Apawu. We're on KTU Radio in Koforidua. We're live on X Spaces. You're on Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrol Soul Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. This afternoon, one person arrested in the Council of State's re-election in the Ashanti region. We are live on the ground, plus the result from the Northeast region. Also this afternoon, more calls for broader engagement on the imposition of a curfew on Wali Township as a security expert calls for a comprehensive roadmap that tackles the root causes of the problem.
Have a roadmap. How long is a curfew going to be enforced or enforced? For what purpose? So you need the leadership of the community.
Was the community, the military attacks are themselves afraid of what is going on the roads?
We have details as security has been tightened on the Tamale Wali Bolga Highway after some commuters were killed and burnt on the stretch. Also this afternoon, Ghana Health Service ramps up vaccination and contact tracing in key districts as cholera outbreak kills over 40 from over 6,000 reported cases.
There's quite a number of them also dying even before getting to the hospital, unfortunately. Wow. Because they were waiting, diarrhea will stop, and then unfortunately.
Also, cerebrospinal meningitis death toll rises to 16 with 129 suspected cases recorded.
And so the health workers are doing their best. The chances are that with all this support coming, we're going to ensure that people do not die.
We have details of that to the sports.
Elmina Sharks owner Papa Kwesindom blames the Ghana FA for another act of hooliganism, this time in the Division 1 League.
And we'll get to hear from a professor of finance warning that discontinuing the IMF program would be unwise, as President Mahama confirms the government has yet to decide on an extension.
We've not talked about an extension of the program.
Given where we are, that we are exiting the program in May 2026 conveys considerable risk to the market.
Plus, update on the Education Reform Committee underway in the Volta region. That and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. I am Emefa Apawu. Many thanks for your company. Please do stay for details. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Let's start off with updates on the Council of State re-election in the Ashanti region and the Northeast region, and a clash between the police and some supporters of one candidate in the Council of State re-election in the Ashanti region has resulted in yet again the arrest of one person. The suspect, believed to be a supporter of former NDC chairman Yao Obimpe, was among people who defied police orders to stay behind barricades mounted at the venue. Well, today's re-election is a rerun of last week's election that ended abruptly after some thugs pounced on the EC and destroyed some materials, including ballot papers that were already cast. Already, we are told about a recurrence of that situation last week in the Ashanti region. But in the Northeast region, Saka Abuba, thankfully, has been elected as the regional member of the Council of State. We know that there was a tie in the Northeast region. So that's about updates. I'll get on the ground shortly with my colleague Nanaya Ojima to give us some updates on the situation in the Ashanti region, as well as my colleague Ilyas Tanko to give us updates on the Northeast region re-election. But let me stay a while longer up north, and there are increasing calls for broader engagement regarding the imposition of a curfew on the Wali Township in the Northeast region following attacks on motorists using the Tamale Wali Bolga Highway. 7 people were killed last week on the stretch alone, and the Minister for Interior Nigeria, acting on the advice of the Northeast Regional Security Council and by executive instrument, imposed a curfew on Wali and its environs from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. on the 15th of February. Well, we'll hear from security analysts shortly on this, but Northeast Regional correspondent Ilya Tutanko reports that while residents oppose the curfew, they've been complying with it.
Yesterday was the second day of the curfew. As we monitored, people were very calm. Large number of people went into their rooms at the time of the curfew, and so there was no incident reported. Even though people are very angry, people are fuming, they have decided to, for now, respect the law and abide by the curfew. So yesterday we saw a significant compliance of the curfew that is happening in Wali. People are very angry. They do not know what is happening. They continue to say that there's no violence in Wali. So this curfew is highly unjustifiable. And they want authorities to come clear as to why they have imposed curfew on the Wali town, which is more than 100 kilometers from Boho, where we have active violence ongoing.
Now, let's refresh the minds of our audience. What exactly led to the curfew?
Has been ambushes on the Bolga-Boko Polmakum road, and that has also triggered reaction on the Tamale-Bolga Wali-Bolga highway. And several buses have been ambushed with several passengers. Some of them, according to the security forces, innocent people are killed on this particular road. And so to curb the attacks and the reprisals on this particular road, that is why the government decided to impose curfew. Well, there have been intensified security patrols. We've seen significant of soldiers and armed police that have been put on that particular road. And so for now, you see a lot of security forces on the road, and people, there's movement of vehicles on that road.
That's my colleague Ilias Utanko that interacted with Faustina Safo on Joy News Desk a while ago. Well, President of the Mamprugu Youth Association, Idris Ushaibu, is calling for more engagement on the curfew, alleging that the military has been brutalizing residents.
What is the effect of the curfew? Now, the incidents that happened on Bolga-Wali Road, they happened in the daytime. Now, we have similar incidents happening in Bolga-Boku Road, where even under military escorts, people come out and shoot at the military and the occupants of the buses, kill, and nothing happens to those people. There is no curfew in that area. There is no military brutality in those areas. Why Wali and its environs? People have been trained as security people to make sure the ordinary Ghanaian live about his life normal.
That's the president of the Mamprugu Youth Association, Idris Ushaibu, there speaking to us earlier. We can hear from security analyst Dr. Victor Doke is calling for broader engagement on the curfew imposed on Wali Township. Well, he urges the Regional Security Council to develop a comprehensive roadmap that addresses the root causes of the problem.
I would introduce the Minister of Interior and then direct it to, as quickly as possible, engage some leadership of the Wali community, and then trying to explain to them the purposes for the curfew. Now, if laws are made and enforced and it's broken, you are sure that those who break the law face the consequences. And in this regard, in the context of the curfew, if the people do not adhere to the regulations of the curfew, you would expect that the security authorities will respond. But we don't want to see that. We don't want those engagements to happen at all, which could spiral and then out of control. So I think the way forward now is engagement.
That's a Dr. Victor Doke. Thankfully, we've been joined on the phone by the chairman of the Northeast Regional Security Council and Northeast Regional Minister, Mr. Ibrahim Tia. We are grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So we've been hearing some reactions to this curfew that has been imposed on Wali. Let's talk about the adherence to this particular curfew. Are they complying voluntarily, or is there visible enforcement by security agencies, you'd say?
Yeah, thank you to our cherished listeners, ladies and gentlemen of the media. I think that they are complying voluntarily, although certainly asking people to sleep beyond a certain level will come with some sort of resistance. But I think so far, so good, they are complying.
Well, I'm curious though, what specific incidents would you say led to this government's decision to impose the curfew? And has it been effective in curbing that violence?
I think there are series of incidents that really got up to this level. One, attacks on buses along the highway, and then most recently, attacks of buses within the Wali Township and its environs.
But we are also hearing about a report of military brutality against residents. Have you been able to verify this? Has it been brought to your attention at all? And what exactly are you doing about it? And have you had any response from the security forces on this?
Yeah, it has been brought to my attention, and I clearly condemn the shameful acts of violence that have led to the destruction of buses, and then most alarmingly, the loss of innocent life. Such ridiculous acts have no place in our society. And I think that, yes, it has gotten to my attention, and I think they are investigating to come out to get to the real bottom of the matter, to establish the facts of it.
But from the reports you're getting, official report, how many lives have been lost, how many injuries have been reported in all these cases that has been brought to your attention, sir?
With the attack on the bus, on Saturday when I was in the hospital, one life was lost. A baby too got burnt inside the bus. Then the brutalities that I've heard of, well, one also passed on at the hospital. And then the violence that also came on my attack at the palace when I was trying to brief the people about the situation, about this curfew, and how we should comply and see how we can address the concerns, the genuine concerns that is being about this, so that these things will stop. I learned another life has been lost.
Okay. Well, we're grateful for your time. That's Mr. Ibrahim Tia, is the chairman of the Northeast Regional Security Council, and of course the Northeast Regional Minister, giving us updates on the Wali situation. I've been telling you about the re-election also of the Council of State re-election in the Northeast region. Thankfully, we have a winner now after that tie breaker today. Saka Abuba has been elected as the regional member of the Council of State. Well, in the Ashanti region, there was some violence in the first election, and it does appear that is recurring today already. There's been arrest of one person. My colleague Nanaya Ojima is in the middle of all this for us, joins us on the line. Nanaya, let's talk about what exactly happened today.
So the police have mounted about 6 barricades outside the Prempa Assembly Hall, which is the new venue for the election. Some supporters of Yao Obimpe, who happens to be the former NDC chairman of the Ashanti region and an aspirant in this election, were supposed to stay behind these barricades, and the people attempted to breach the protocol of the police, and it resulted in some confrontation between the supporters of Yao Bimpe and the police, and led to the arrest of one of these people who were perpetrating that illegality at the ground.
Is the election going on now, and how are delegates setting up to cast their ballot, you say?
Yes, at the moment the election is ongoing. Not so long ago, some MPP executives in the Ashanti region came in with a bus full of delegates for the election. These delegates have all been through the security checks and have gotten access to the inner perimeter, and very soon they will be going ahead to cast their ballots. Before they arrived, about 30 people out of the 86 people we were expecting to cast their ballot today had voted. Now it's expectant that if these people are able to go through the checks, more than 70 people would have gone through the process in the next few minutes.
That's my colleague Nanaya Ojima there, monitoring the Council of State re-election in the Ashanti region for us already. One person has been arrested. Let's turn our attention to health, and Ghana Health Service is ramping up vaccination and contact tracing in key districts as cholera outbreak claims 40 lives from over 6,000 reported cases. From the first reported cases at Ada East in the Greater Accra in October 2024, the disease has spread to the coastal areas and parts of the Eastern and Ashanti regions. Head of Prevention and Control at the expanded program on immunization, Dr. Kwame Amponsachiano, tells Joy News that many of the victims died before getting to the hospital.
We had August, it fizzled out. Then October, we started recording cases.
Okay.
Again, Ada East started. Then it came to Ada West, back to Ada East. Then we recorded pockets in other areas in Greater Accra,
right,
including Gas South. Even along the line, we had 1 or 2 cases in Punkatamanso. Then Kaswa came in, And so when the epicenter moved from Adan East, especially Adan East, Adan West enclave, it went to Ga East, and then we had to intervene, just as we did. And so that's when we started the vaccination. You will recall that just around Christmas, we had many cases in Western region.
Right.
Sekendi, Takrade, Ifia, Kosimintim, Shama, and Ahanta West. Cumulatively, including those who have recovered and all that, we would say that we've had over 6,000 suspected cases. And then for the confirmed, as at about a couple of days, we had confirmed about 600 plus. A number of people have lost their lives. Of course, for some, we wouldn't say it was definitely cholera. But if you have an outbreak and you have, let's say, anything, as I said, that resembles a diarrheal disease, you classify it as cholera. And so among all that, we've lost about 40, unfortunately. 40 plus.
40 Ghanaians.
Yes, quite a number of them also dying even before getting to the hospital, unfortunately.
Wow.
Because they were waiting, diarrhea will stop, and then unfortunately.
So this is...
Well, Dr. Achiano also announced plans to step up the vaccination process in the endemic areas.
Once you declare you have an outbreak, you do the investigation. It's all part of the response.
Okay.
The social mobilization, communication, health education, they are all part of the response. Linking up with the assemblies to enforce the laws, to provide potable water is all part.
Okay.
The vaccine only comes to add to the arsenal, the tools that we have.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would say essentially, it's a water problem.
That's Dr. Kwame Amponsachiano, Head of Prevention and Control at the Expanded Immunization Program. They're speaking on Ultimate Health with Nortidria on Joy FM. Is on every Sunday at 2 p.m. Now, still on health, and the Upper West region is experiencing an outbreak of meningitis with 129 suspected cases to date, out of which 22 have been confirmed as such, and 16 have lost their lives, with Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbing and the Upper West Parliamentary Caucus stepping in with critical support. As the region grapples with a surge in infections, health facilities are under immense pressure as we speak, struggling with limited resources to contain the outbreak. Rafiq Salam reports.
Speaking shortly before he donated logistics for meningitis case management valued at over 300,000 Ghana cedis, Speaker of Parliament Alban Sumana Kinsport Babin commended medical personnel.
It is changing its form, nature, its size, and all the tricks unknown to man. If not, this is not the time we are expecting this onslaught. But here we are on a serious attack by the enemy. And so we'll do all we can. This is just the first. As we go back, we look for more.
Alban Sumana Kinsport Babin assured medical personnel in the region of their commitment to working to support them to help fight the deadly disease.
I'm happy that you've made this difference and that you've been able to contain it so far. We hope that it will stay that way and that there will be no deaths. But that is in the hands of the Almighty God.
The items donated included IV fluids, antibiotics such as ceftriaxone injection, and spinal needles for lumbar puncture. Upper West Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Damien Puri, disclosed that the region has so far recorded 129 suspected cases of the disease, 22 confirmed cases with 16 deaths.
And so the health workers are doing their best. The chances are that with all this support coming, first from the Minister of Health and now from the Right Honorable Speaker, we're going to ensure that people do not die.
Laura Member of Parliament Bid Zeden, on behalf of Upper West Regional Parliamentary Caucus, pledged to support the Upper West Regional Health Directorate with an amount of 10,000 Ghana cedis to help combat the disease. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
And it's a good time to take a quick break here on the Midday News live on Joy 99.7 FM, Hits 103.9 FM, all in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com. We are live in all 16 regions. The Midday News is proudly supported by Petrol Soul Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. I've been telling you about the Council of State re-election in the Ashanti region. More violence today. One person has been arrested. We'll return from the break. I'll bring you sport, and we'll hear from a University of Ghana finance professor warning that discontinuing the IMF program would be unwise, as President Mahama confirms the government is yet to decide on an extension.
We've not talked about an extension of the program.
Given where we are, that we are exiting the program in May 2026 conveys considerable risk to the market.
Also, be fair to us, as the crowd of pupils and teachers in Northern Ghana begging government to fix their collapsing schools. That's coming up in Crumbling Start.
Every now and then, teachers and pupils are chased out of the class by snakes.
So this structure serves two purposes: for the children and the animals.
The whole school from KG1 to P6, we are only 2 teachers. You see, this alone discourages most children.
Where did I? Now I don't know many just are.
Obiang, what you call her? And to want to say petrol software energizing dreams for motion. Hey boy. Petrosol are celebrating their 10 years in grand style. They're giving back to their loyal customers. Hope you have registered at their online portal. Don't say I didn't tell you all.
Each month, customers will stand a chance of winning items like tricycles, motorcycles, television sets, refrigerators, phones, fuel vouchers, and many more. But the best part is that at the end of the promo, we will be giving out a grand prize of 2 Suzuki Espresso cars to lucky winners who stay with us all through the promo period. All you need to join is to visit any of our over 100 stations across the country to get registered, or go to www.petrosolcrm.com to register online.
Petrosol, energizing dreams.
Hey, stay soft concentrate fabric softener. I was such it move. Just send it this way. You hear me? It's now watch. New year it's now watch. No, be a baby. Someone some demoni in us. Say, didn't you say? For quiet, yes, in Biara Association Ontario. Use stay soft and new year it's now watch. Nani boss to tap from cry. A fabric softener. A year near says, choose to stay soft. No who's so you know. FDID a dreading crowd to yatu.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports. Mubarak, what do we have?
Yes, Emefa. So, bankroller of Elmina Sharks, Papa Kwesendum, says the Ghana Football Association must take responsibility for the recent acts of hooliganism in the country. Now, in a Division 1 match against Swedro All Blacks at Endom Stadium, players and officials of Elmina Sharks allegedly attacked match official Esau Morrison. This incident occurred less than 3 weeks after Kotoko supporter Francis Frimpong was stabbed to death during a Premier League match.
We can't let this thing continue. Isn't this a consequence of what has been happening in this country? Isn't it? If you let people misbehave from Premier, Division 1, Division 2, and whatever else, what do you expect? So if I wasn't at the stadium, what do you think would have happened? It is the Ghana Football Association. They take responsibility. They must make everybody safe. They must make the games entertaining. They must pay the referee appropriately. They must pay everybody well, not just they take FIFA money and go and relax somewhere.
That's Papa Kwesi Ndom, bankroller of Elmina Sharks.
Thank you very much, Mubarak. Now let's turn our attention to education, and they come with hope, eager to learn, but the walls around them are falling apart, just like the system meant to shape their future. In many schools across the 5 regions of the north, pupils sit on blocks or even the bare ground to acquire knowledge. In some schools, just 2 teachers shoulder the burden of educating pupils from kindergarten to basic 6. Join News' latest series, Crumbling Start, produced by Emmanuel Jivenu, uncovers the disturbing reality of basic education in northern Ghana. Here accepts.
They sit on blocks, broken desks, lie bare beneath roofs that could cave in at any moment. In the 5 regions of the north, classrooms are death traps.
If you are actually in the school, you can go around and see how it is broken. It has a
a big crack, and actually it's more or less a death trap.
Every now and then, teachers and pupils are chased out of the class by snakes.
So this structure serves two purposes for the children and the animals. An animal will occupy here, shit and urinate all over, even on the tables.
Schools with 8 classes, but only 2 teachers. And sometimes what they teach these children is simply troubling.
The whole school from KG1 to P6, we are only 2 teachers.
I, J, K, N.
L. So where's L? L is not there. So write the L there.
L?
Yeah. Okay, so this is how to write the L. I'm just written this way.
Who will care enough to fix the crumbling before they start?
You see, this alone discourages most children. Who knows whom the children will be? Who knows where the next MP will come from? Are we not Ghanaians? Are the children not Ghanaian children?
Be fair to us. Let's discuss crime.
Crumbling Start is a Joy News education series produced by Emmanuel Jivenu. Premieres tomorrow, Tuesday, 18 February, on the Joy News channel, also here on Joy 99.7 FM. And President John Dramani Mahama has reiterated that his administration has no immediate plans to extend Ghana's ongoing $3 billion extended credit facility agreement with the International Monetary Fund. Speaking in an interview with Bloomberg TV at the Munich Security Conference, he stressed that his government remains committed to executing the existing program without seeking an extension. Addressing the possibility of future modifications, President Mahama acknowledged that an extension could be considered if necessary, but insists the current focus is on implementing the agreed measures.
Talked about an extension of the program. We are determined to continue with this program. I think that it means that we must be more prudent in our handling of our finances. We must also look on the expenditure side and see how we can cut waste and also shift resources to more priority programs. And so it's a whole basket that we're looking at. We also have the issue of the debt restructuring and the humps that have been created. This year we have to pay in excess of 15 billion on the domestic debt exchange. So what we've done is to reactivate the sinking fund and put more resources into it to take care of the repayments that have to be made this year. But all in all, we have a cordial relation with the IMF. The next review, which will be the 4th review, is due in April. But before that, we'll present the budget in March. And so the budget will take into focus some of the issues that have come out from the staff mission. We're hoping to receive the aid memoir today or tomorrow, and looking at the issues that IMF raises, we'll incorporate them in the budget. We've had a good discussion, and if it's necessary to look at additional funds or to extend the program, we'll look at it. But for now, we are determined to continue on this trajectory.
Well, we've been hearing from a professor of finance with the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Godfred Bokping. He says it will be bad for the economy if government discontinues the IMF program.
To think about it, that given where we are, that we are exiting the program in May 2026, conveys considerable risk to the market.
How?
And yes, because you see, when people are investing, they want stability for long. We all prefer relative stability, predictability, not for 1 year, not for 2 years. Otherwise, people who would want to invest in them wouldn't want to commit to long-term investment. They would.
That's a Professor Godfred Bokping, and I've been waiting all weekend to meet these two girls right here. For what's happening? What did you get for Valentine's Day?
Charlotte actually celebrated. Like if you check her socials, you can see her getting roasted.
I gave myself I gifted myself because I'm in love with myself now. So
I was in church, I was in church on Friday. I was in church praising God. Is that a lot?
What are people talking about? If you tell me what
people received a lot of gifts.
It was a Valentine weekend, so a lot of stuff about Valentine.
And things.
Yes, and all that. People getting the the proposal and all that on social media.
I mean, God of G-Wagon, at this point, you have to visit me so that next year I can be waving my keys at everybody. I want a Rolls Royce, so
Hey,
Take it easy. Learn to call before you walk. I beg you. What's up?
Yeah. Well, away from Valentine, Bishop Salifu Amuakon is trending on social media. Well, the Attorney General dropped charges against him and his wife and one other individual. But in a surprising turn of events, he was rearrested immediately. He was discharged. Social media has been reacting to this. He's on top of the trends, and people have been sharing their thoughts. So Hazel says that after they were officially released or discharged from custody, they were rearrested. There might have been new developments or reasons that led to the rearrest soon after their release. And Spear of Beauty says that the real case is about to begin.
We'll see.
Let's see what is happening.
well, also yesterday we crowned the whole, week experience with
Yes.
Diana Hamilton. It looked, it was amazing.
It was the move.
Oh, it was
Something
the
that
move.
I have been expecting for a very
Of
long
course you
time.
Jackie.
Diana's biggest fans.
I think Diana has just taken this whole gospel music industry to a different level.
Yeah.
Charlie.
And I quite remember
set
that
things
this year
apart.
she's expanding it to other
Yeah,
regions
she
too.
has.
She's not just doing it in Kumasi, Accra. She's going to other regions. So other regions would get to experience a week experience this year.
Yeah.
But then my colleague Nicholas was there, has sights and sounds of the event.
We'll have to go. I'm
Definitely.
really
But
out
then
of
we
time.
should listen to one of my favorite songs from Diana.
Hey. And that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Of course, I'll take you back to Teshi ICGC and we bring you Relationships episode 6 with Pastor Mensa Otabil. He's always a miracle working God.